concern of that guy was asking a question to Mr. Anant regarding the, where is he? What was your question, please? I will try to satisfy.
Sir, I was saying that as a customer or buyer, sir, what are the precautions or checkouts I need to make insurance that the food is not adulterated or toxic or contaminated, sir? Or
see, if you have a doubt about the quality or safety of a food product which you want to buy from the market, there is a set procedure provided in the law. Every customer has a right to get food product tested from the government lab. In case you have some doubt, anytime, anywhere, regarding the quality of any food item, you can take the sample. You have the right to take the sample of that food item and send that sample to the government accredited laboratory, which is very much here in our Srinagar. If the food product which you suspect to be adulterated is found on analysis as of adulterated quality, you will be paid the cost of the sample and the other miscellaneous charges. And the food business operator, you understand the term food business operator, I have also, will be prosecuted under the relevant provisions of the law. This is the only process in place through which you can get the quality of a food product checked. There is no other provision. There is no other process. You have to believe the enforcement agencies that they are doing their job to the best of their knowledge. In case you have doubt, you try to take sample of that either yourself or inform the authorities, the relevant authorities of the area. They will take the sample of that, and in case it is found in violation of the law, you will face the action. That's all. There is no other process. Okay? So the customer has the right to get the food item analyzed. Like the food safety officers who prepare the samples of various food items on daily basis, they get them analyzed and take further course of action on the basis of the report furnished by the analyst. You can have the same right. You can also act as a food safety officer for a time or some time. So, and it is not to be so much apprehensive. Authorities are doing their job. You have faith in them. Oh, yes. You need to extend your help in case you find something fishy going somewhere or you find some food fraud extra. You should inform the authorities. That is your basic duty. As citizens, you have a duty to inform the authorities regarding any fraud, any food fraud. Before beginning my whatever the scheduled topic, I would like to express my gratitude to the authorities, Dr. AABIDA and others, our team, for organizing this event. Though the gathering should have been this is a very important issue. And this is such a big issue, we cannot do it within 10, 20 or 30 minutes. It's not possible. It can take months to discuss this issue. But I will try to tell you something basic about the laws on food safety in Indian perspective. These kind of events are very important. This is the proper way of disseminating awareness among the public, particularly the place they have chosen. Obviously, they do not choose any other place. This is the right place for propagation of a very good message. So I once again thank them for their efforts, for their commitment. Because no legislation can achieve these objectives without proper awareness. remember it, are aimed to evolve a self-compliance system in the society. Self-compliance, you must be understanding the term self-compliance. One is the stakeholders, consumers or the producers, I mean the industry people, or dealers, wholesalers, distributors, understand the basic importance of the compliance of a statute. The enforcement of the act automatically becomes very easy, very soon. Most of the objectives of the particular legislations are achieved through self-compliance. Here, what the people need to understand, the consumers need to understand the importance of sanitation, hygiene of the premises where the food is being processed. The handler's personal hygiene. What is the hygiene of the person handling a particular food which he serves to the customer? We should understand these nitty-gritties of this process of processing the food. Once we understand it, we will always opt for the right choice, the right food only. And if we opt for the right food, we are guaranteeing a good health to ourselves. You know, food safety is a very important pillar of the health sector. Without safe and wholesome food, we cannot guarantee a healthy nation, and without a healthy nation, wealthy nation concept cannot be achieved. In a way, food safety is directly proportional to the economy of a country also, economy of a person, of a family also. If you choose a right food, there are very less chances of falling ill, getting infected, being a part of some, God forbid, some these life-taking diseases. So our basic duty is to understand the law and follow it and adhere it. Every citizen has a duty. Both manufacturer and the customer has to play his part. We as customers have to play our own part, and the manufacturer has to play his own part. Now coming to the topic, laws governing food safety. An Indian perspective. Why there is a need for food safety? Can anybody tell me? Simply, for good health, you need to have a safe food. For making the nation healthy, you need to have the facilities of the safe food, safe and wholesome. To be economically rich, you need to have a safe food. To increase the exports of the country, we need to follow the standards, international standards. Means we need to produce the quality food. Only then our products can have the customers in the markets. So number one, why we need food safety is to ensure safe manufacturing, distribution and sale of food and food-related products. Number two, prevent food adulteration and food fraud, which I have already told you. prevent misrepresentation of true identity of contents of food ingredients or product for economic gain. Before this regime, the current regime, nowadays it is the food safety regime, people were ignorant about, we were not able to differentiate between ghee and vegetable oil. Because physically, if you will see, both have the same.
Both are green.
है ना, ऐसे दोनों दिखने में एक जैसे हैं. वो भी घी, हम उसको भी डालडा को भी घी कहते हैं और घी को भी घी कहते हैं. Which actually is not the reality. These are two different things. Now yes, one more thing. Earlier, all oils used for cooking were considered to be mustard oils, which is contradictory to the fact. Mustard oil is the oil extracted from the mustard seed, and there are hundreds of oils, not hundreds, many oils, which are extracted from other sources, from vegetables, from coconuts, from sunflower, etc., from other sources. They are not mustard seeds. That is not the mustard oil. It is obligatory on the part of the manufacturers now to explicitly write whether this is a mustard oil or vegetable oil. If it is vegetable oil, from which vegetable this has been extracted. Now things are very clear. Everything is clear to the transparent now. अभी अब धोखा खाने का कोई चांस नहीं है. अगर कस्टमर एक मस्टर्ड ऑयल लेना चाहता है, खाना चाहता है, वो मस्टर्ड ऑयल उसको मार्केट में अवेलेबल है. अगर वो वेजिटेबल ऑयल लेना चाहता है तो वेजिटेबल ऑयल अवेलेबल है, वो वेजिटेबल ऑयल वहां से लेगा. सनफ्लावर ऑयल लेना चाहेगा तो वो ऑयल अवेलेबल है. So he has a choice now. Things are now clear. There is no chance of hiding the reality of the ingredients of a food product. Globalization of the trade, of food trade. Before this regime, we were not a part of, we are not rather following the International Food Code. We had our own standards which were not matching with the international standards. If a product does not match with the international standard, definitely it is not going to have any customers in the international market at all. So we were facing challenges in the international market. Our products used to, they did not invite the attention of the customers in the international market. As a result, we suffered losses. So in order to increase the
Standard.
no, not standard, exports of the country, we had to shift to the other regime, that is this food safety regime, Food Safety and Standards Act. Multiple food laws. Before Food Safety and Standards Act, which was adopted in the year, implemented in the year 2011, on 5th of August 2011, the Food Safety and Standards Act was implemented throughout India, including J&K. Before this regime, we had multiple food laws. There was Food Adulteration Act, 1954. We had FPO. FPO. Anybody from agriculture side? We had FPO earlier. Food Prevention Order, like SI. We had meat and meat products order, milk and milk products order, oil and oil products order. We had so many laws on the subject. Which definitely, जब कानून बहुत थे तो confusion भी बहुत ज़्यादा होना था. Confusion used to be there. There was no clarity regarding the standards. FPO, as per the standards provided in the FPO, a fruit basic product was supposed to have some standard like A, and as per Food Adulteration Act, the same fruit for a particular standard used to be B. So there was a confusion. There was a clash between the standards. Rigid and responsive standards, they were definitely rigid and non-responsive. Poor information dissemination to consumers. There was no provision for dissemination of awareness, education among the consumers. Nine different laws and 8 different ministries governing the food sector prior to this regime. There were 9 different laws and 8 different ministries were looking after the same thing, which is nowadays being looked after by a single ministry and single law. Like I said, fruit products order, meat products order 1973 at stock. The laws framed by different ministries with different perspective and enforcement approach. Laws जो भी थे वो different ministries, different departments बना रहे थे on their own. They had no, उनमें आपस में कोई वो नहीं था. They never used to share with the other ministries. So there was a clash between the standards set by different ministries. परेशान होते थे इंडस्ट्री वाले कि हम क्या करेंगे, इस कानून के हिसाब से हमने ये चीज़ करनी है, इस कानून के हिसाब से इसी चीज़ के लिए हमें ये करना है. So they cannot, for a particular standard, there cannot be 2 standards. There can be 1 standard. But this used to be earlier. You may or may not be. This was the reality. Overlapping laws with different quality standards. These things, these complexities, these challenges, these difficulties finally came up to the authorities. These were discussed in detail, and in 1998, the Prime Minister's Council on Trade and Industry appointed a subject group on food and agro-industries, which later had recommended for one comprehensive legislation on food, with a food regulatory authority at its apex, concerning both domestic and export market. Joint Parliamentary Committee on Pesticide Residue, in its report in 2004, emphasized the need to converge all present laws, all the 9 laws, and to have a single regulatory body. The single regulatory body, you must be knowing its nowadays name is Food Safety and Standards Authority of India, FSA. It is head office at Delhi, Kotla Road, Delhi. This is the single apex body now. There are no other ministries involved, only one ministry. Yes, suggestions are sought from all the ministries. This apex body, जिसकी core committee होती है, उसमें तमाम ministries के members होते हैं. But the apex body is FSA. Only FSA takes the decisions after deliberations with the other ministries. The Standing Committee of the Parliament on Agriculture in its 12th report, submitted in April 2005, desired that much needed legislation on integrated food law should be expedited. The group of ministers constituted by the Government of India held extensive deliberations and approved the proposed integrated food law with certain modifications. The integrated food law was named as the Food Safety and Standards Bill 2005. Act 34 of 2006. Finally, this bill was passed by the Parliament, by the both houses of the Parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha in the year 2006, and it was enacted as Act 34 of 2006. It came on the statute book as the Food Safety and Standards Act 2006, 34 of 2006. This is what we have already discussed it. So let's save our time also. Objectives of FSA 2006. To consolidate multiple laws and establish a single point reference system. I hope you understand this, all of you. The main objective of the Act behind the passing of this new legislation was to come out from the era of multiplicity of laws and to have a single legislation, integrated single legislation. This was the motive. To establish Food Safety and Standards Authority of, as I told you. Its second objective was to establish a single authority, apex body, and which was later named as Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. To regulate the manufacturing, storage, distribution, sale and import of food products. To regulate मैन्युफैक्चरर के लिए कुछ ऑब्लिगेशंस रखी गई, उनके लिए कुछ स्टैंडर्ड सेट किए गए, डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन के लिए खास तरीके तय किए गए. It is not that food item basically cannot be transported in an ordinary way. No. People are supposed to transport in a vehicle meant for transportation of the food items, having all facilities. Controlled temperature facilities. Yeah, all foods in fact. But we live in the poor part of the world. We have to bear it with these things. This cannot be changed overnight. It takes time. Once we grow economically, socially, morally, then these things will come naturally. बिहार का एक चीज में शुरुआत करना लाभयोग पैसा गया, उसका कुछ टिपिकल अंदाज है बात करने की. वो कहता था मुझे नहीं आएगा उस अंदाज में बोलना पड़ता है. उसकी बात है हम उस देश में रहते हैं जहाँ पे जूते को जो हम पाँव में लगाते हैं उसको 5 स्टार शोरूम में रखते हैं और खाने पीने चीज को हम सड़क पे रखते हैं. This is full of philosophy. This should have been otherwise. Food products should have been in those rooms where we display our these shoes and stuff. And shoes should have been outside. तो चलता है नहीं चलेगा पता नहीं कब तक चलेगा. But outside it is not like that. Outside is poor world. I mean subcontinent. Other parts of the world जो ये गरीब है उनके बगैर जो developed countries है, developed countries में scenario is entirely different. To regulate the manufacturing, storage, distribution, to ensure availability of safe and wholesome food for human consumption. These were the objectives of behind passing a fresh legislation. I don't think these are needed because after all, we are telling we have some chapters, we have
Legal.
12 chapters, I think, in the whole this law, and 101 sections. There are rules plus sections, there are rules and regulations. Silent futures of food safety and standards Act. This is very important. As I told you, the apex body has a wider representation from all the ministries, the technologists, scientists, state governments. Every state government is member of this apex body. The meeting of this apex body takes up 4 times in a year, where the policies, the trends, the standards are discussed every time, and decisions regarding the fresh regulations are taken. We had recently organized one CAC meeting, Central Advisory Committee meeting. This is the highest decision making body in the authority. इसी के members सारे ministries होते हैं. Not all ministries, related ministries. Agriculture ministry होती है, food processing ministry होती है, then health ministry होती है, animal husbandry की ministries होती है, और भी related जो भी है. They are the members. We had it this year. We had the privilege of organizing, particularly I had the privilege of organizing that meeting at Pahalgam in the last week of September this year. And all the commissioners of food safety from all the states, the representatives of the ministries, and the representatives of the associations, private associations, they participated in them. That was a huge gap. That was a huge meeting. So this apex body has a wider representation of food technologists, ministries, scientists, state governments, farmers, retailers, consumer organization and food industry. They participate in the decision-making process. They are being taken on board while taking a decision regarding any amendment or fresh regulation. Science-based standards. Science-based standards that distinguish substandard and unsafe. In the era of prevention of food adulteration, we had no such provisions. We used to send the sample of any food product to the lab. If the analyst reported that sample as of adulterated quality, in those days he used to use term adulterated quality. We used to prosecute him with that quota. Law simply, those prosecutions are still pending, despite lapse of some 12 years, 13 years. They are still pending in the courts of law. Unruled, ऐसे ही जा रहे हैं डस्टबिन में. उनकी तरफ कोई ध्यान नहीं दे रहा आज के दिन. उन दिनों भी नहीं ध्यान दे रहा. Now we have science-based standards that distinguish substandard and unsafe. Can anybody tell me what is substandard, difference between substandard and unsafe food?
I think substandard is safe, but the quality is not up to the mark.
Right?
And unsafe is that it's not unsafe, it's not safe for
Exactly. This is the exact meaning of it. Substandard means when there is deviation in the standards of a particular set standards. Deviation in the set standards of a particular food commodity. If there is deviation, it is substandard. Unsafe means it is not fit for human consumption. We should avoid consuming that food which is found to be of unsafe quality. Unsafe because of adulteration होता है, unsafe. Substandard में भी adulteration की वजह से कभी-कभी, suppose let us take example of milk. When we add water to the milk, इसका जो fat content है, वो तो definitely dilute हो जाएगा, कम हो जाएगा. That is adulteration. But in legal terminology, it is substandard. इसी तरह अगर हम अभी किसी मिर्ची पाउडर में कलर ऐड करेंगे, which is not allowed as per law, there it is not substandard, it is unsafe. We cannot consume that. Improved regulatory structure. We have now new enforcement structure in place. पहले उस era में, उस regime में हमें used to have only food inspectors and food safety, state food health authority. Drug and food controller used to be the state food health authority in those days. But अपने किसी डिपार्टमेंट का हूँ तो ज़्यादा मुझे भी नहीं चाहिए अपने डिपार्टमेंट के अगेंस्ट ही, उसको कोई काम नहीं करता हूँ, कुछ नहीं. He never used to concentrate on this issue. Only food inspectors बेचारे लगे थे in enforcement, in enforcing the provisions of the law. बाकी कोई authority नहीं in place. Neither there was a requirement as per the law, कोई requirement होती कि ये authority होनी चाहिए, वो था नहीं. There was no requirement. He was considered to be the kingpin in the market. जो मन में आता था food inspector. On spot decision, on spot everything. जो उसको ठीक लगता था वो he used to do it. तो finally उस चीज को कम करने के लिए, ट्रांसपेरेंसी को, अकाउंटेबिलिटी को बढ़ाने के लिए इस्लाम में गुंजाइश बढ़ाई गई कि हम एक एनफोर्समेंट स्ट्रक्चर खड़ा करें हर स्टेट में. Nowadays we have employees of food safety in every state full time. It should be full time also. We have designated officers, we have food safety officers, we have food analysts, not one, we have 5-6 analysts in this part of the J&K and 5-6 there in Jammu. These are statutory authorities. We have, in addition to statutory authorities, we have joint commissioner, we have deputy commissioners, 5-6, we have assistant commissioners. So there is a total shift from that regime to multi-level, multi-departmental control shift to a single line of control. Earlier, the Food Adulteration Act itself was also implemented by so many departments, not alone by Food and Drug Department. The municipal council's head was a party to the implementation of the Act. The municipality, similar to Jammu municipality or for that matter Delhi municipality, they too were implementing agency. There was multi-level, multi-departmental control. Earlier, now it is single departmental control. Large network of laboratories. Earlier we had a very few notified laboratories throughout India. We had 2 in J&K, 1 in Punjab, 1 in Delhi, 1 in every state. There was scope for just 4 laboratories, referral laboratories. Or all be able to send referral samples to the lab. Nowadays there is a chain of laboratories. Number of laboratories have been notified, have been accredited, granted accreditation. We have in J&K nowadays, in Srinagar we have 2 private laboratories who have been awarded as NADEEM status by the authority. So now we have options. The monopoly which used to be enjoyed by these few laboratories earlier has vanished. It has gone now. I am not now bound to send my food sample to Srinagar laboratory. I can send it to Delhi. There are 10 laboratories in Delhi. I can send it to Ghaziabad. I can send it to Mumbai. Or anywhere in the country. There are no restrictions. So a large network of laboratories has been. Regulation of food imported in the country. The food imported to the country, that too is being now monitored. Every Tom and Harry cannot buy a food from some country and get it imported to this place now without facing a proper check, without having a proper certificate from the authorities that is safe, it is of quality, it is of complies to our standards. Only then it is allowed, though it is not in case of every food item. Randomly it is being done. But time may come when each and every food consignment will be first checked, then allowed into the markets. As I said, the law, Food Safety and Standards Act provides for a full-time, whole-time officer of the rank of secretary to be the head of the food safety affairs of the state. He has these powers, prohibit in the interest of public health, the manufacturing, storage, distribution or sale of any article of food. He can prohibit manufacturing, sale, distribution of any article of food which he thinks can be hazardous, can be injurious, is not fit for consumption. That can be easily managed by the Commissioner of Food Safety of a state. Carry out survey of the industrial units engaged in the manufacture or processing of food in the state. Conduct or organize training programs. He has the power to organize training programs for all the stakeholders. Ensure an efficient and uniform implementation of the standards. Sanction prosecution for offences punishable with imprisonment. The Commissioner of Food Safety, on the recommendation of the designated officer, sanctions prosecution against the persons involved in or connected with the trade, manufacturing or storage of a food product which has been found as of unsafe quality. Manufacturing an unsafe food product is a criminal offense. There, the designated officer requires the sanction of prosecution from Commissioner of Food Safety. I hope you understand it. Rather, I am able to convey you the right message. Are you able?
Sure.
Such other functions as the state government may, in consultation with the food authority, prescribe. Powers of designated officer. Designated officer, there shall be a word, shall has been. It is mandatory for every district to have a full-time designated officer who shall not be below the rank of sub-divisional magistrate or sub-divisional officer. It is provided in section 36 of the Act. What are the powers and duties of the designated officer? To issue or cancel license of abuse. kind of food business, a person requires to have a license under Food Safety and Standards Act. Running a business without license under Food Safety and Standards Act, now it is not, was an offense, criminal offense, and carried punishment up to 6 months, and along with and penalty up to 5 lakhs. So this was considered to be a heinous crime that way. Now it has been amended because it was too harsh. Putting a person behind bars for not having licenses, I think it's not, it is too much. It has been amended now. The fresh regulation has been recently, some 2 or 3 days ago has been passed. Now 10 lakh penalty has been fixed for a person who runs his business without license. How much? 10 lakh. It is the designated officer who issues this license. Prohibits the sale of any article of food which is in contravention. Designated officer can also prohibit the sale of any food item which he suspects, rather, not which is reported as, mostly in case of a food item which is reported as of unsafe quality. There, the designated officer has the power to prohibit. It is safe. It is the designated officer who receives the report from the food analyst and decides whether the offense, if committed, needs to go into the judicial magistrate's court or the case needs to be sent for adjudication. There are 2 processes. There are 2 courts now. Rather, we have 3 courts now. For unsafe category of offences, that we need to file the complaints before the judicial magistrates, CJMs, not all judicial magistrates, CJMs, Chief Judicial Magistrates. And for substandard quality foods, the food safety officer needs to submit the complaint to the adjudicating officer, who in our J&K is additional deputy commissioner of the particular district. For launching prosecutions before adjudicating officer, designated officer sanctions the prosecution. He has the power to sanction the prosecution. Maintain record of all inspections made by FSA, food safety officer. Record वगैरह भी maintain करना है कि मेरा FSA कहाँ गया है, क्या कर रहा है, to get investigated any complaint which may be made to him in writing, to investigate any complaint which may be made in writing to him against the food safety officer. C, the accountability. If a complaint is made against the food safety officer by anybody, the DO has the power to get it investigated, and if on an investigation the complaint is found to be true, a penalty of rupees 1 lakh for FSA is to be imposed on the food safety officer also. बड़ी कम गुंजाइश रखी गई है वो किंग पिन वगैरह जो पहले रिजीम्स में हुआ करता था food safety officer. Now he is no more king pin. No, he has powers, wider powers, but he has to exercise those powers only in the good faith. Now there are less chances of being misused by the concerned food safety officer. To perform such other duties as may be entrusted by the Commissioner of Food Safety. Powers of food safety officer. These are provided in section 38 of the Act. He takes the sample of any article of food which he suspects to be in violation of the law. He has to apply his mind first. He should not. Food safety officer should not take sample of each and every food item without application of the mind. He is accountable. He is put to the question is why your sample is, if you have taken a sample, why it has not failed? You should apply your mind. Then, जुगाड़ करके वो बोल देता है कि सर ये था वो था वगैरह, but he is accountable. Seize any article of food which appears to him in contravention and keep it in safe custody of the vendor, or he can carry it himself also. He can keep the seized articles anywhere. See, this is a very huge power vested with the food safety officer. He can seize any size of the consignment, irrespective of its cost, size, nature, etc. You must have seen recently hundreds of thousands of kgs rather of paneer and koya वगैरह were destroyed in Jammu by the department. Or in Zameer also, in my district also, this year only, we seized around goods around 30-40 lakhs. That will be huge problems. This power of inspection is unique in nature. He can enter into any premises where he thinks that food is being either stored or processed. He does not need to have a search warrant in his hand and enter into some premise. No, he has the power to enter anywhere. Cause the deteriorated food to be destroyed. If during inspection he finds that there is some food has deteriorated, he can destroy it. Or if he finds some perishable food, food have short shelf life. If he thinks that they are in contravention of the law, he can destroy them on spot. He has not to seek any permission for destroying those food items. Follow as far as may be the provisions of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 to of 1974 relating to search or inspection of a place by a police officer executing a search warrant issued under that code. He can cause the arrest of any custody of any person which is needed by him for any kind of investigation. Send a sample for analysis to the food analyst. These are powers of the food safety officer. Improved monitoring system. इसमें recall plan, annual audit, is a monitor. By profession, I don't know how it is here. Now there are provisions of audit also. Every FBO has to conduct at least once the audit of his devices. It's very complex in nature. It's not like कि ऐसा नहीं है वो कमरे में बैठा है और वो खाना बना रहा है तो आपको दे रहा है. That era is gone. So please, everybody, we have to trust the authority. They are doing their best. Recall plan. Every manufacturer is supposed to have a recall plan in place. Recall plan is self-explanatory. It is a plan according to which food business operator, mostly manufacturer, can recall his product if after distribution he comes to know that it is in violation of the law. you should immediately recall it back. You should have a system in place, mechanism in place, so that he recalls the whole consignment back to the plant. This is no requirement of every manufacturer. Improved justice delivery, different procedure to deal with civil and criminal penalties. We have now two different procedures. One is not to, in the wider bigger sense, we have just two. One is adjudication, another is जो normal court इसमें जो prosecution चलती है. But there also we can have fast track those cases होते हैं, courts होते हैं, appoint some judge or conducting speedy inquiry of any case. अगर ज़रूरत पड़ी सरकार को, then we have another court is our adjudicating officer, जो भी comparable offences हैं. You see, two terms have been used, two different terms for offences. Criminal offences, punishment with imprisonment and fine has been used. Fine. For substandard foods, no imprisonment is
Fine.
only not fine. Penalty is to be imposed. This is with some motive this term has been used. It is the most relevant term. It is not fine. This is penalty. Penalty means compensation. अगर आप गलमोल घूमोश गदस्त्रावन आप किलो ददश बनावन सुसे किलो, so he is earning 40 rupees for 1 kg of milk. Double कमाता है उसमें. लॉ जो प्रोवाइड करता है ये एडजुडिकेशन में जाएगा. On enquiry, the adjudicating officer has to conduct an enquiry. में नहीं जाएगा, there on spot he has to conduct the enquiry. कि इसने कितना कमाया है, अगर इसके पास 10 kg दूध है, इसने कितना कमाया है, and how much loss he has incurred to the public. इसको टोटल जमा करके पेनल्टी इम्पोज की जाती है. तो इसको गवर्नमेंट एक्स्ट्रा करना डालता है, फिर ये वापस आ जाते हैं लोगों के पास. This is difference between penalty and fine. Fine is different. Fine can, इसमें ये calculation नहीं होती. Okay? Constitution of tribunals, appellate tribunals बनाए गए हैं. Some appeals agreed with the decision of the, is not satisfied with the decision of the adjudicating officer. He can file an appeal in the court of tribunal, which is normally headed by a session judge, retired or in service. See, penalties under Food Safety and Standards Act. Section 50, it provides for a penalty of ₹5 lakhs for selling food not of the nature or substance or quality demanded by the customer. इसमें कितनी है? 5 lakhs. It depends upon the कि आगे बंदा कितना बड़ा है. कोई छोटा रेडी वाला तो नहीं, इसको 5 लाख तो नहीं डाल सकते ना. हाँ, नेस्ले वाला है तो इसको power, the court has the power to enhance the quantum of that penalty. वो enhance भी कर सकते हैं. They can impose. अगर आप छोटे हो साहब, recently सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने एक डिसीजन दिया है जो पतंजलि है ना, पतंजलि को एक एलिगेशन थी कि वो मिसलीडिंग एडवर्टीजमेंट. Finally, the case went to the Supreme Court for hearing. वहाँ hearing conduct हुई तो कोर्ट ने एक ऑर्डर पास किया, ऑर्डर किया कि for every wrong and misleading advertisement, we will penalize you ₹1 crore, though it is not written in the law. In law, in the act it is written up to rupees 10 lakhs for false advertisement or misleading advertisement. But the Supreme Court warned the Patanjali people that in case you do not stop from misleading the public, we will impose 1 crore penalty for each offence. We had a similar situation over here also some years back. 3 companies, one from Delhi, one from Anant, Kamal, one from Srinagar, Khyber. A penalty of rupees 1 crore was imposed by High Court on each of them. 3. So, law says penalty up to 10 lakhs. But the court has the power to impose enhanced penalty. For substandard foods, there is a provision for imposition of penalty up to 5 lakhs also. You understand now what the substandard food is. Section 52, penalty for misleading this misbranded foods. Misbranded. How many you understand misbranding? Misbranding, this is also self-explanatory. जहाँ पे लेबल पे कोई गलती हो, अगर if there is any violation, vis-a-vis label is recorded by the designated officer or the food safety officer or the analyst. This comes under the category of misbranded. What are the requirements for these label provisions? Labeling provisions जो है वो क्या है? How many things you need to have on the label? What things you need to have on the label? Number 1 is nutritional information. Number 2 is date of manufacturing. Now it is date of expiry. Don't accept any food commodity which does not have the date of expiry. Earlier it used to be best before. Now it is date of expiry. Then nutritional information, list of ingredients, where the ingredients are more than 2. List of ingredients is mandatory. Then in case of vegetarian, non-veg, need to have different those dots. Fortified, F plus, we need to have F plus if it is fortified. We need to have complete address of the manufacturer. You should remember it and tell others also. If the label is not having the exact and the complete address of the manufacturer, you should not buy those products. You should avoid taking those products. Complete address of the importer, in case the food is imported from outside. Then weight, cost or price, whatever. Batch number is mandatory for all kinds of foods except perishable foods. They don't require it. Perishable means which have short shelf life. And जो packing में small होते हैं, less than 50 centimeters, square centimeters का surface area होता है, उनमें mandatory नहीं है. Like वो जो टॉफी वगैरह होती है, उनके बड़े पैक में होना चाहिए. टॉफी पे नहीं लिखा होता है, उसमें mandatory नहीं है. इसके अलावा भी मिसब्रांडिंग में 1-2 चीजें आती है. अगर इसकी न्यूट्रिशन इंफॉर्मेशन और एनालिसिस देखा गया कि ये बराबर नहीं है, जो रिपोर्ट है जब कंपेयर किया जाता है न्यूट्रिशन इंफॉर्मेशन को एंड एनालिटिकल रिपोर्ट को, अगर ये कंट्राडिक्टरी है तो देन इट कम्स अंडर द बैनर ऑफ मिसब्रांडिंग. उस टाइम भी 3 लाख पेनल्टी लग जाती है. 53 penalty for misleading advertisement extended up to 10 lakhs. गलत एडवर्टीजमेंट के लिए केस खाने से आपकी सेहत बनेगी, आप दौड़ोगे, हवा में आप जंप करोगे, ऐसा करोगे, फुटबॉल खेलोगे, ये सारी गलत चीजें हैं. These are misleading advertisements. What is these offences? Penalty of this 10 lakhs is provided in the law. Penalty for food containing extraneous matter. may extend up to 1 lakh. Stainless metal you understand. अभी चावल में पत्थर पाए गए, अगर इसमें पत्थर है तो obviously ये बाहर निकालेगा, मगर इसके लिए इसको पेनल्टी है up to ₹1 lakh. Penalty for failure to comply with the directions of the food safety officer ₹2 lakhs. अगर food safety officer कोई direction देता है किसी FBO को, if he fails to comply to those directions, a penalty of ₹2 lakhs is to be imposed on that FBO. So in any case, FBO has to follow the comply to the directions of the food safety officer. Penalty for unhygienic and unsanitary processing or manufacture of food may extend up to ₹1 lakh. In case the hygiene personnel or hygiene of the premises or the sanitary conditions of the premises are not satisfactory or not in tune with the law, a penalty of up to ₹1 lakh can be imposed on that. If somebody possesses an adulterant in his premises, a penalty of 2 lakhs can be imposed on him. This is provided in section 57. While such adulterant is injurious to health, a penalty not exceeding 10 lakhs rupees is to be imposed on the food business owner. In case the adulterant is found to be injurious to health. Section 58, जहाँ पे पेनल्टी डिफाइन नहीं की गई है, ऑफेंस को डिफाइन नहीं किया गया है, पेनल्टी प्रोवाइड नहीं की गई है फॉर एनी काइंड ऑफ ऑफेंस, पेनल्टी ऑफ ₹, अगर फूड सेफ्टी ऑफिसर को लगता है कि दिस मैन हैज नॉट डिस्प्लेड हिज लाइसेंस at a prominent place, he can prosecute him, he can submit a complaint, and a penalty of ₹2 lakhs can be imposed on him. Or if he finds that the FBO is not using headgear, shoe covers, etc. within his premises, like these offences, these offences have not been defined in the law. But for such kind of offences, there is a provision of penalty of ₹2 lakhs. Section 59, it provides for punishment for unsafe foods. The food is found to be of unsafe quality, they come under what? Criminal offense. The court, after on decision, can impose a penalty up to 1 lakh and imprisonment for a term which may extend to 6 months on the manufacturer or any other person who is found guilty by the court, but in case no injury has been caused to any person by consuming that food. There are three categories of unsafe food also. One is that जहाँ पे किसी को कोई इंजरी ना हुई हो खाने से. दूसरा है नॉन ग्रीवियस इंजरी अगर हुई हो तो imprisonment for a term which may extend up to 1 year, and also with fine which may extend up to 3 lakhs can be imposed on the accused persons. In case of grievous injury, imprisonment for a term which may extend to 6 years and also with fine which may extend up to 5 lakh rupees. In case of death, imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 7 years, but which may extend to life imprisonment. So there is a provision of life imprisonment also in the Act. But in case there is a death by due to consumption of some food product, and same is ruled in the court of law. Section 60, it provides for the punishment for interfering with the seized items. Imprisonment of 6 months. After 6 months, will fine which may extend up to 2 lakhs. One is the food safety officer seizes some food and consignment and keeps it in the safe custody of an FBO. If he tampers with the seal of that seized consignment, उसको ये सजा लगेगी 2 लाख रुपए जुर्माना and 6 months imprisonment. For false information, if some FBO provides false information to the authority or to the public regarding the nature of the food of his food product, he can be sentenced to an imprisonment which may extend up to 3 months and fine which may extend up to 1 lakh rupees. Section 63, punishment of carrying out a business without license, penalty which may extend up to 10 lakh rupees. This has been now, as I earlier told you, this has been amended now. Now it is rupees 10 lakh, no imprisonment. Punishment for subsequent offences. Twice the punishment which might have been imposed on the first conviction. In case FBO repeats the offence, on second time he will be awarded twice the punishment which was awarded to him at the time of the first offence. अगर उसको 1000 रुपये पहली दफा जुर्माना हो गया, अब 2000 हो जाएंगे. अगर 2 महीने जेल हो गया, अब 4 महीने हो जाएंगे. Further, a fine on daily basis which may extend up to 1 lakh rupees. Daily basis पे भी उसको जुर्माना हो सकता है 1 लाख रुपये. His license can be cancelled also. फूड सेफ्टी एंड स्टैंडर्ड्स एक्ट की सबसे जो खूबसूरत बात है, इसमें इनोवेशन का बड़ा वो है, प्रोविजन है, बड़ा स्कोप है. Nowadays you see many new foods coming in the market, and there are no set जो भी वो स्टैंडर्ड्स फॉर दोज फूड्स के लिए, जो भी नॉर्मल फूड के लिए, इनके लिए कोई सेट स्टैंडर्ड नहीं होता है. इनको इनके इंग्रेडिएंट्स की बेसिस पे टेस्ट किया जाता है, एनालाइज किया जाता है, एंड इफ दे फेल देयर, दे फेस द रथ ऑफ द लॉ. इनको कोई वो कंसेशन नहीं है, मगर इनोवेशन का बड़ा इसमें स्कोप है. Safeguard consumers' expectations of substance quality in a non-misleading. जैसे भी कहा कि अगर कोई misleading, कोई कुछ करेगा, mislead करेगा पब्लिक को, उसके लिए इसमें बड़ी सख्त सजाएं मुकर्रर की गई है इस कानून में. Consumers have the right to take samples, which I discussed in the beginning. Every consumer has the right to go for analysis of any kind of food product which he suspects to be in violation of the law. As I earlier told you that there is a provision or imposition of penalty of rupees 1 lakhs against food safety officer if he is found to be guilty in all cases prior notice to FBO. Such cases, before taking any legal course of action against any accused person, the law provides that the authorities are supposed to bring everything in black and white in the notice of the accused person. Private public participation in enforcement, accreditation of private agencies, individuals for audit inspections. This too has been discussed earlier. there are now private audit agencies are being engaged by the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India to conduct audits in inspections of the food business operators operating across the country. The private labs, they are being granted accreditation, NABL accreditation, and notified as NABL accredited labs. Any sample for enforcement purpose can be sent to these labs for analysis, and their opinion is equally valid as that of the government labs. Harmonization with international standards such as Codex and hence responsive to the international trade also. Codex, how many of you understand Codex? Yes.
It's actually an international regulatory organization.
Is that regulatory authority? Can they? Exactly. Two bodies हैं. लेकिन इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड को रेगुलेट करते हैं ये. They frame the standards जो इंटरनेशनल जो फूड कोड है, जो स्टैंडर्ड से सेट करते हैं ना, फ्रेम करते हैं ना, वही इंटरनेशनल फूड कोड बनता है. इससे क्या है, इससे प्रमोट होता है कंट्री, it adheres to the international standards, can promote their exports, can earn dollars, can strengthen their economy. So India भी इसमें it is no more lagging behind now after the implementation adoption of this legislation. If we adopt AABIDA, these provisions were very much kept in mind. We have to make now such standards which are at par with the international standards, so that we are able to sell our products in the international market, to increase the economy of the producers, the government, the traders, the manufacturers, everybody. This is the setup. At the top is the CEO, Chief Executive Officer, FSA, Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. At states, this regime is being headed by the Commissioner of Food Safety in every state. Then we have central licensing authorities, food business operators having business in more than two states, or turnover beyond, I think, I don't remember exactly what it is now.
20 crores.
20 crores. It's 20 crores. Come under the purview of the central licensing authority. They have to apply for the central licensing authority, not by the state, for the state license. Then we have state licensing authorities. Below this, about 12 lakhs and below 20 crores, they come under the states. The designated officers of the concerned district, they issue the licenses. We have registering authorities also, the food safety officers who work at block levels. They are registering authorities of their areas. Then we have other offices, zonal director and other officers at different zones. हम जो है we come under the control of the चंडीगढ़. हमारे हेड ऑफिस चंडीगढ़ में. Online platforms of FSA. Food safety compliance system is an enhanced version of the food licensing AABIDA. Nowadays it is FOSCOS, food safety
Compliance.
से ही हम जो भी licenses, registrations, penalties वगैरह, this all is being operated from here through cost council. Ensures compliance of imported food consignments. Online होती है certification of the जो भी है imported food consignments होते हैं उनकी भी होती है. Initiative to improve public health in Eat Right India Challenge. This is an initiative to improve public health in India and combat negative nutritional trends. Eat Right India Challenge में बड़े वो सब हेड्स हैं इसके, सब सेक्टर्स हैं. Like Eat Right School, Eat Right Campus, fortification of foods. These all come under this head, Eat Right India initiative. So these two have been initiated by the FSA. Yes. Training and capacity building, first step. First step. आप में से किसके पास है? किसके पास? आपके पास है? और आपके पास है? आप आ जाना मेरे पास, मैं कराऊंगा ट्रेनिंग आपके साथ. There is a program rather, no, it is not a proposal, it is in force, we are doing it nowadays, with the government to train or at least one among every 25 workers are working in a single place. To train him, to make him aware about the provisions of the law, so that the overall conditions, जो भी हो, the business or the premises of the processing area जो है, और raw foods, जो भी processed foods, उनकी overall जो है scenario change हो जाए. For that, ये capacity building program चल रहा है. These trainings are being regularly conducted by our department. The costs are also incurred by our department. There is not a single penny is being charged from the FSA. We have cluster certification program of clusters of schools. 4 schools constitute one cluster. In every district, the certification of schools is going on. I told you this is a very big subject. This will take time, so bear with me now. I think Madam is also close. She also wants me to finish the rest. Is it so, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Do we need me to?
Yes, sir. Basically, from guest house cook was called to lunch is ready.
Okay, let us conclude.
हमारा जो lunch break है 1:50.
चलिए मैं थोड़ा देखूंगा क्या है इसमें. फर्स्ट टाइम हो गया.
सर वो सर्टिफिकेशन का बता
किस certification?
इनके लिए व्यू के लिए अच्छा रहता है.
हाँ, this is very important. In future पता क्या होगा? This is the idea we get from the seriousness of the authorities. Maybe in future we may not be granting any license to any person who is not having this training certificate, who has not completed this training. I mean, this may be a prerequisite for obtaining any license in the future. As on date, it is not like that, but in future it is. Perhaps it is going to be like that. So you should, whosoever intends to go for business or any kind of business, he should obtain a license. He should attend this training program. Government is giving it It is available in every district, always available. So you should avail this opportunity. One more initiative, this is the loveliest, the best initiative of the authority, RUCO. Food business operators are required to monitor the quality of the oil during frying by complying with the said regulation. FSA is implementing a EEE strategy to divert use of cooking oil from food value chain and curb current illegal practice. RUCO मैंने कहा ये सबसे प्यारी स्कीम है, सबसे बेस्ट स्कीम है ये FSA। अगर इस पे अमल किया जाएगा ना, अब जो ग्राफ है हमारी डिजीज का है तो डेफिनेटली कम down. We Kashmiris have a bad habit of taking anything outside. अभी हमने snacks देख लिए मधुर मंच बच्चे देख लिए बाकी snacks शासन available. They are very tasty though, but we should avoid that. Unless they do not adhere to the provisions of the law. Reprocessing of used cooking oil, this is very dangerous. Repeated frying of oil, you should avoid it at home also. It alters the nature of the
Change the chemistry.
chemistry of the oil. क्यों होती है chemistry change? Can anybody tell me? Oil की on repeated heating में क्या होता है?
इसमें से ट्रांस हो जाता है कंफर्मेशन, सिस कंफर्मेशन ट्रांस में चेंज हो जाती है, तो ये फिर ट्रांसफर्स कन्वर्ट हो जाता है,
और fatty acids generally.
Exactly. तो on repeated heating जो है, इसकी जो toxicity है, that multiplies. One can be these मतलब ये जो toxicity है, इससे पता है liver involvement हो
There is
सकता है.
generation of polyaromatic hydrocarbons.
Exactly. Alzheimer's disease होती है, या hypertension ये disease, बड़ी disease होती है इससे. इसके लिए सरकार ने क्या किया है? To remove this used cooking oil from the food value chain, government ने private public partnership की तरह से they engaged some agencies, authorized some agencies to collect this oil from the abuse against rupees 35 per kg. See the seriousness of the government. Our department is collecting this oil from the abuse, which otherwise used to be waste and is to be discarded. But we, for the sake of the activity, for the pocket of the abuse, what we do, we buy it from him against rupees 35 per kg. And we handed over it to the petroleum ministry. वो फिर बायोडीजल इससे बनाते हैं, they convert it to biodiesel. That's a source of sustainable energy और इकोसिस्टम के लिए बहुत अच्छा है. तो you should take cognizance when you visit a हलवाई or some this जो snacks जो बनाता है person करता है, आपको ध्यान से देखना चाहिए and tell him don't do it. आप क्यों करते हो? Why you are making us to take this poison? Avoid it. इसमें थोड़ा यार rights. अगर आप खड़े होंगे ना कहीं पे, you have an authority to stand against any crime, any offense. It is not like आप कानून बोलेगा आपने कब खड़े, हाँ, you have not to beat him, you have not to abuse him, you have to tell him, you have to convey to him, why this is not allowed as per law. Stop it. Government is paying for it. You sell it to the government, they will pay for it. So RUCO is one of the, this is my personal perception about it. I don't know how much you got influenced. Right? These are different oils. You should opt for the right palette, right choice, right oil. All these.
ये इतना dangerous है. It is not only for the human beings. ये environmental pollution.
Yes, exactly.
इसमें there is a formation of acrolein. पता नहीं किसी ने मत नोट किया होगा. जो हमारे स्नैक होते हैं ना conjugate.
Yes, ma'am.
उनको जो वो होते हैं ना उनका जो frying pan होता है उस पे एक वो bluish layer होती है.
Safe food, share food is one more initiative with the FSA. इससे जो good quality food जो होता है, that is being surplus food, that is being redistributed among the needy ones. उनको भी अच्छा खाना मिलने का मौका मिलता है. It's a very wise job. अगर कोई somebody gets involved, we don't have a little scope for this activity over here, but it is being done outside by the people. They collect quality food from the 5-star hotel, then redistributed among the needy ones. Thank you very much.